Today we're asking the question, what if Zurafa evolved? This is Zurafa, a defense-type Beyblade from the second season of Metal Fight Beyblade, also known as Beyblade Metal Masters. What sets it apart from other defense Beyblades, especially defense Beyblades with the rock wheel, which are plentiful, is the rubber 145 spin track. In theory, its rubber wings are meant to absorb impact from low attacks. In the anime, Zurafa was owned by the leader of the Chinese national team, Dashan Wang. Beyond being the leader of Team Wang Huzhang, Dashan was also recognized as China's strongest blader and the pride of China's elite Beylin temple. And despite having such insane aura that even the protagonist thought he was a legendary blader, he unfortunately was not, and as fans, we lost out and never got to see a proper evolution to his Zurafa. And for those who don't know, a legendary blader is a blader from the final season of Beyblade Metalfusion that was blessed by a magical rock from space, resulting in their Beyblades getting super cool evolutions. But as we saw with Blitz Striker, there's more than one way to evolve a Beyblade. So what if after learning that he was not a legendary blader, Dashan pushed his training beyond limits and evolved his Zurafa? This is Surge Zurafa, an evolution to Zurafa featuring fully custom 3D printed parts. Let's get a deeper look at this thing. Up first, we've got the Surge metal wheel, which was designed by my friend JRTs and modeled by Level 0. I've dropped both of their details in the description below. Like other 4D Beyblades, the Surge wheel is comprised of two parts, a metal frame and a core. And similar to wheels like Fang, we've got two modes, a defense mode with the frame positioned downwards, and a stamina mode with the frame and its decals positioned upward. Visually, both modes are similar, but the stamina mode has the fine decals on the wheel facing upward like I mentioned earlier. For the core, it's a rubber core that was printed specifically in TPU, or thermoplastic polyurethane, a rubber-like material often seen on things like Crocs. And shout out to K Workshop who helped me with the actual printing and dyeing of this piece. In theory, like rubber 145, the TPU core is meant to absorb impact, adding to Zurafa's overall defense. And like Meteor Drago, the rubber should hypothetically be able to spin steel. But that's all in theory. In practice, the current fit of the TPU core is slightly loose around the metal frame. It's still functional of course, but there's definitely room for improvement, but let's see how this thing does in battle later on. For the other parts, I've kept the classic Zurafa combo including the iconic rubber defense 145. For the tip, I've given it an upgrade with this custom tip, defense ball. As you can see, it's a similar tip to wide ball, but it's got a flat ridge around it, theoretically meant for attacks when hit on its edge. And again, this particular tip was designed and modeled by K Workshop, whose details I've linked below. Checking the stats, we see that Surge Zurafa weighs about 44 grams compared to Zurafa's 42. Unlike other custom Beyblades, or even 4D Beyblades, Surge Zurafa is on the lighter end, since its TPU core is so light. Looking at just the metal wheels, Surge weighs in about 35 grams, just slightly heavier than the rock wheel at around 33 grams. With that out of the way, let's see how this thing does in battle. Up first, let's try out that defense mode.
Fight!
Not the most impressive battles against Storm Pegasus, but Surge Zurafa still secures the victory 2-1. Let's level up the competition. If you're enjoying this video so far, subscribe. I've got more 3D printed evolutions just like this in the works. You can help me out in the algorithm by dropping a like or a comment. And if you got any recommendations for my next evolution, feel free to drop them below. This might be a long shot, but I'm aiming to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year. If you can help me reach that goal, I'd be eternally grateful, so thank you in advance. Against Death Quetzalcoatl, Surge loses 1-2. Maybe it's the lightness of the Beyblade and the looseness of the core that I mentioned earlier. But let's keep pushing and see how this thing does against a 3D printed custom Beyblade. You know what? Those were some close battles against Direwolf. Let's switch it up and switch modes. 3-0 against Storm Pegasus, but that might have been for my terrible launches. Another 3-0 for Christ Cygnus, but damn, those were super close. Looks like Stamina Mode lives up to its name, with 3 spin finishes against Diverge Ares. So that was Surge Zurafa, a custom 3D printed evolution to rock Zurafa. The TPU core is definitely really cool, but like I mentioned earlier in practice, it's feeling like it definitely needs some work. The TPU core is also the reason the Beyblade's so light, so we might have to look at improvements for the future. From a lore perspective, even the anime recognized the legendary status of Dashan, so it's a shame we never got to see his Rock Zurafa evolve even further. So despite the current TPU core still needing some work, I'm glad that with Surge Zurafa we got a glimpse of the legend that could have been. And again, special thanks to my friend JRTs who let me showcase his original Beyblade design. If you like 3D printed custom evolutions, definitely check out his Instagram linked below. In any case, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.